Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson Football Channel. 5 of my last 10 YouTube videos have been match reviews. There is a reason for that. I'm going to talk to you about it. Today, we're going to discuss Romelu Lukaku. We're going to break it up into my personal George Benson, GBFC, whatever you want to know me as, the George Benson Football Bloody Channel. We're going to talk about my emotional feeling towards the situation and then my practical feeling towards the situation too. Before we get into that though, I want to ask you to follow my Instagram because there is going to be a giveaway on my Instagram today for a product that you cannot buy in shops. It is a partnership collaboration that I have done with two others who you will find out on Instagram if you follow. Later on today, I'm going to be posting an Instagram reel. I've been posting Instagram reels like almost daily now for the past couple of weeks. It's really fun. And today, there is a giveaway for a product that I know virtually all of you watching this video would absolutely love to have. So if you are not following me on Instagram, you will not be aware that the reel is posted and you will need to comment on that reel in order to have a chance of winning this one-of-a-kind item. And I promise you, it's going to be worth it for each and every one of you. But we've got to talk about Romelu Lukaku. And first thing, the reason why there have not been that many videos on GBFC isn't because I've been ill, which has been a story that has actually been dominating my life for about 3 or 4 months of the last year. It's not because I can't be bothered, which is the lazy person's approach to actually trying to understand why GBFC, Mr. Benson, hasn't posted a video. Chelsea and the whole Lukaku saga was overwhelming for me. Without sugarcoating it in any kind of way, Chelsea is my passion in life. This is my work, which is how I make money in life. So when I don't post videos, I don't get any money. But the problem is, I, as a professional YouTuber, having done this now for over 10 years and have had many different successful YouTube channels, I consider myself a professional. And I've got standards that I wish to adhere to that I have set for myself. Not that anyone else tells me is you've got to be like this or you've got to be like that. I set my standards. And recently, Chelsea have just been getting me down. And it isn't because of results, the platform that I've made myself and the way I enable it to affect my life. If you don't understand what I mean, I'm sorry. In a nutshell, I've just kind of been not wanting to give my thoughts on things because I've been feeling overtly negative. And I feel as though with the voice I have within the Chelsea community, I'm not saying I'm the biggest deal in the world and people listen to me and think I'm telling gospel truth. That's not what I'm saying. But with the influence I have and the way I've been feeling about Chelsea recently, I've just not really wanted to talk about it because I don't want to negatively influence others. So the reason I'm doing this Lukaku video today is because at one point or another, I have to put this own situation for myself to bed in terms of the way I feel about it and the way that I express how I think we need to move forward this problem, which I'm sorry, it's a problem. There is no Chelsea fan that can deny it is a problem right now. Many external factors are influencing why it's a problem and how it's a problem, but Chelsea need to practically think of a way to progress away from this situation. First of all, I want to get the emotion side of it out the way because I think it's better to lead with that and then finish with a way that we can all just be like, yeah, I think this is what we need to do. Not that I'm Thomas Tuchel or not that I've got a direct line. I'm trying to pick up my phone. Picking up the Kindle, yeah, a dead Kindle. And not call Thomas Tuchel. Factual information with Benson. The way I feel about this whole thing, we can say whatever we like about Chelsea's issues with COVID, Chelsea's issues with key players being injured. Thomas Tuchel's had his say on what a key player is. And this is why I absolutely adore our manager right now. I think Thomas Tuchel is my favourite Chelsea manager that we've ever had. I feel as though he's not only tactically a bit of a genius with what he did to win us the Champions League and the way that we moved forward, playing the way that we did with 3 at the back, but I also think he's a very intelligent psychological football manager. And by this, I mean, he understands that it isn't just about how you individually manage personalities of singular players. He understands the dynamic of a dressing room and how Chelsea's situation is very obvious in the terms of the results that we've had because we are missing so many key players, and he doesn't use it as an excuse. It is a very simple concept psychologically to understand that when you take out so many key players in one moment to a rhythm and a system that is working so well, which is Chelsea's early season form, when all of this seems to capitulate within the space of a couple of weeks, altogether, very quickly, it absolutely changes and alters the dynamic of day-to-day training, of how we tactically approach each and every single game, personnel in general, when you don't have enough players to choose from week in, week out, which there have been times in the last few weeks that that's been a thing. It's been so difficult for Chelsea to navigate this. When you throw on top of that Romelu Lukaku's interview, whichever way you want to look at this, that came at the worst possible time for Chelsea. We'd gone into a little bit of a dip. Results weren't as consistently good as they were at the beginning of the season. Add on to that the fact that we do not have a full squad of players to choose from when some might be disgruntled by Lukaku's behaviour. Maybe our £97.5 million striker shouldn't have been playing as frequently because of what he did and the way that he painted the club in a negative light. My feeling on this is that it was A, so incredibly insensitive from Lukaku. B, I firmly believe, and this is the key point why I wanted to talk about the emotional side of it here today. I think it is having a fundamental impact on everything that's happening at Chelsea right now. I think there are some players in this Chelsea squad who have absolutely no doubts in their mind that Chelsea Football Club are the pinnacle of where their careers are going to go. Whether these players are Thiago Silva's, who are 37 years old, or Reece James's, Mason Mounts in their early 20s, I firmly believe that these three examples at least, and there's plenty more I think in this Chelsea squad, I think these three examples are three players who see Chelsea as the place to be. When we look at footballers' careers and aspirations, inspiration, I think there are enough players in this Chelsea squad who seriously see Chelsea as the top, which is why we won the Champions League, which is why we got to an FA Cup final last season, have made a League Cup final already this season, and have already won a Super Cup, and qualified for the Champions League knockout rounds, and been in a title race until we lost so many players. You add into that mix what Lukaku did, and the way that everybody in the Chelsea fan base has no doubt been affected by this in the way that they've seen Lukaku, the way we perceive the Lukaku signing. Some will think that it is now a massive waste of money and Chelsea got it wrong. We should have foreshadowed this. We should have known about this. In this case, that's not possible. You expect your £100 million striker to adhere to the rules of the club and not conduct interviews behind the club's back without the permission of the club. You just expect that as a basic courtesy more than anything else. What Lukaku has done here, in my opinion, has upset the apple cart in the sense that there are now players within this Chelsea dressing room who may have already been feeling a little bit unhappy for their own selfish reasons. And I'll give some examples here of players this could be. I'm not saying I know it's this. It could be upsetting for Hakim Ziyech, who was already a little bit like, well, am I appreciated here? Do I get enough game time here? Now, Romelu Lukaku does this, seemingly immediately gets away with it, and it could easily upset the apple cart in that sense. I'm not saying it has. I do believe it has had an impact. All of the attention it's been given in the media. I mean, there's a reason why I live and breathe Chelsea, and the reason why this whole thing has affected me so much is because it's peed me off. It's wound me up to the point where I'm like, I don't really want to give my opinion because I'm feeling too negative about it right now. Add on to that results. Add on to that this feeling of like hard done byness, which I'm certainly been experiencing as a Chelsea fan with the ridiculous non-postponements for Chelsea games, and then Liverpool, hello, yeah, it's alright, you can postpone that. Arsenal, yeah, no worries, mate.
Granit Xhaka got a red.
Better not let you play against Spurs at the weekend. You know, it's building up with me. It's been winding me up to the point where I don't want to scapegoat Lukaku. I've wanted to scapegoat Lukaku, if you know what I mean. So I kept my mouth shut for a while. And then I started tweeting, which is the moment when you know that I'm almost back to being ready to do this in front of the camera. So, I've given you my emotional thoughts on it. The practical way that Chelsea deal with this situation. I put a poll out on Twitter as well yesterday, where I basically said, what do you want to do with Romelu Lukaku right now? I've not seen the results yet, but all I do know is that the tweet didn't go down so well, so the actual case study is not very big. The poll has come back with... So at the time of me recording this video, the poll's only got 4,000 votes, which I certainly expected a lot more because they normally get a hell of a lot more. So, keep starting him with Lukaku, 31%. Drop temporarily, 25%, and sell in the summer, 44% of that 4,000 people, who are mostly Chelsea fans, follow me on Twitter, believe that we should sell Lukaku in the summer. So when we add those two things together, only 31%, 3 in 10 people think that Romelu Lukaku should continue starting for Chelsea. What I believe at this moment in time is that Lukaku does deserve to be dropped. I think Kai Havertz should be starting through the middle. My reasons for this are not simply based on the emotional reasoning that I've given up until this point in this video. The reason for that, I believe that Thomas Tuchel has given Romelu Lukaku more than a fair chance to redeem himself, to buy back the love and adoration of the fans by playing him immediately against Spurs, playing him immediately against Chesterfield, and then again against Manchester City. Now, my biggest concern is that because these Romelu Lukaku isn't happy rumours are still not going away, and it's not even rumours, because he specifically said that he's not really happy with the way that the system is being played right now at Chelsea. So I think Chelsea need to be smart about this here and think, well, you've got a Champions League goal-scoring winner in Kai Havertz on the bench, who's proven that he can do the role through the middle, playing as the striker or the false nine or whichever position you want to look at it at. Right now at Chelsea, there is a clear gulf between the quality with our defending and the quality going forward. The reason there was such a big blip in the quality of the defending was because we almost lost all of our defenders at one point, which there's absolutely no way anyone could have expected Chelsea over the last 6 weeks to have kept up the consistency that we showed in the first half of the season. When there's that many games to be played, when there's that many injuries, it is not a feasible thing to think that Chelsea could keep up with Man City. City have been very lucky with their injuries, with their COVID cases. Chelsea haven't. So in that case, there is absolutely no crazy reason in my head as to why we are so far behind and we're out the title race. That is the bit I can accept. But moving forward, we can say all we like about Lukaku doesn't get the service, the wingers aren't good enough to cross it in. I do believe there is an element of truth in that. I do think that the wingers we have right now at Chelsea are not good enough wingers for Chelsea to be competing to win the Premier League title, is what I've concluded from the past few weeks, because there have been Callum Hudson-Odois, Pulisic, Ziyech, Timo Werners that have been playing out on those wings, and they just still cannot deliver consistently. So I'm at a point now where I just think, yeah, we can blame the striker for some of it, but a hell of a lot of blame needs to go on the wingers and the service that Lukaku is getting. However, should Chelsea and Thomas Tuchel be adapting everything simply to accommodate Lukaku? No. And Thomas Tuchel has said this perfectly in interviews himself, saying that Romelu needs to work more when the service isn't coming to him the way he expects or wants. When you're a player of that calibre, when you're considered as one of the elite 5 strikers in the world, there are ways that you need to adapt the way that you play in order to actually accommodate the rest of the players around you. And as Thomas Tuchel said, it's not just about one player. It's about all 11 out on the pitch and everybody else who's on the bench and who comes off. And the mood of the dressing room needs to be one where we're positively working towards the same goals. And if there are players who are still unhappy, who have been kicking up fusses in the media, who don't feel as though they're getting the right service, they've got to adapt. They've got to work with that, because Chelsea Football Club are paying your wages, mate. People like me are going to keep being upset with you. People are going to keep slating you on Twitter, Instagram, wherever platforms people want to start talking about Lukaku not being good enough or not playing well enough. This is going to continue until you make the effort to adapt your game to be able to play in this Chelsea team, to be able to work with these players around you who you've got no choice to play alongside. It's not Inter Milan's wingers, but I think we've got to get over that sentiment now. We've got to move forward with what we have, and at this moment in time, I look at Chelsea's future and I still see an absolutely wonderfully gifted footballer in Kai Havertz, and I think after a result like we saw against Man City and an impotency like we saw up front in particular, it's time that we drop Lukaku. We don't keep trying to play to the strengths that he thinks he has and that he wants to show. We've got to adapt. And I think Kai Havertz should start through the middle tonight against Brighton, maybe alongside Lukaku. Maybe we still give him that chance and think, well, Lukaku plays a lot better when he's got someone up there with him. Maybe now is the time that City result has really put that in the forefront of Thomas Tuchel's mind. And I hope that we see it tonight against Brighton. My preview will be out a little later. We've got to work with Lukaku. He's still a very great striker. He's just in a big funk right now with the emotional side of his connection to Chelsea, how that impacts the dressing room, and the fact that he is not being given the service that he needs right now, and that he's not adapting to that fact. That's the problem. That's what Chelsea need to solve. And I believe there is not a better manager in world football than Thomas Tuchel to find those answers. And on that note, going to wrap up this video for you guys today. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments below. I know it's been a long vid. Thank you for watching the whole thing. I know it's early in the morning too. 17 minutes of me blabbing on is a long time at this point of the day. But if you did enjoy the vid, hit the like button, subscribe to GBFC if you are new. I'll catch yous later. Come on, you Blues.